So, I had intended to have the recording I made of my review running tonight, but there are parts in there where I deliberately inserted instructions in what I was saying to show images that were going to be captioned into the screen, and I can't really do that in Windows Movie Maker. Or if I can, I haven't figured out how. So that will have to wait until I get my video card replaced and I can put my Adobe Premiere up and running again, and I can put it in again. So I do intend it. That is still coming. It's just not today. Let's see what to talk about today. Well, first off, I went to go see Godzilla today. And Godzilla is, and always will be, an interesting phenomenon in film. There's a lot of weirdness to Godzilla in that he sometimes he's the good guy, sometimes he's the bad guy in the films, but he's never just, a dragon. He usually is a stand-in for some greater theme or issue. In the original, he was a representation of the sort of fear and trauma that came from the bombings that Japan experienced during the war. Now, okay, nuclear weapons are terrible. They are awful. And I'm not going to sit here and say anybody deserved that. There is an argument to be made, and not inaccurate argument, that it may have saved more lives than took. It wasn't the only way that we attacked the Japanese main island. We firebombed Tokyo, and I think we killed more people doing that than with the nuke. And it should be said, just putting this out there because it's sometimes forgotten in the narrative, Japan is guilty of its own terrible, terrible crimes against people during that time period. Yeah, it is terrible what we did as part of the war, but they are not innocent victims in that. There was a lot going on at the time. It was a bad time. Nobody got out of it clean. That said, the fact that they were involved with the first nuclear explosion to hit people left a mark on them. It left a mark on the Japanese psyche for a while. And the original Godzilla movie was sort of directly addressing that. It also was related to a fishing boat that got caught in the fallout from a nuclear test in the Pacific. So that was certainly an element in what was going on there. But it represented a fear. Godzilla represented a fear. Now, when the American version of it came out, they edited it pretty heavily because it was believed that, subtitled movies were only interesting in art house. So to make it broadly popular, they added an American character to be sort of the guide through the experience, and they edited out a lot of the subtext of the movie. It's still there, and if you watch it, it is a even the American version, is kind of a harsh criticism about the use of nuclear weapons. Um, but it's a little less uh, stringent than the original Japanese. But they came out with this new one. Uh, there have been a lot of Godzilla movies over the years, and quite a few of them are dumb. Um, the silly Mecha Godzilla and all of that craziness. That's the character became much more silly and less of a harsh, horrifying commentary on the world. But they still kind of kept a lot of those. This is a theme for something else. Uh, and then there's the horrendous Matthew Broderick film that nobody should ever watch again. There's like one scene in the whole movie that's worth watching, and that's it. So that that particular scene is what's his name, Hank Azaria, playing the cameraman, and Godzilla walking down the street. That was the reason to watch the movie, and that's all. Just gonna put that there. That said, I say that a lot, don't I? Weird. I went to go see this new one, and my expectations were not super high, because often Hollywood doesn't get it, but they were higher than the previous American attempt. And I have to say I liked it. I liked the movie quite a bit. I think they captured the absolutely scary nature of the monster the way it should be. It's hard. I will say that the story is less clear. The story was not always hitting on all the marks. A little too often I had to go, why in the hell would they do that? That makes no sense. And no, that those don't work that way. What? Why are you? But those are middling, complaints. And in a movie with 40-story tall, monsters fighting, that you have to give it a little bit of suspension of disbelief. So we move on. I think the pacing of the movie was spot on. I think it was a disaster flick, as it should be. And it was paced and written like a disaster flick. It was about the people trying to survive the disaster. It's just, instead of an earthquake or a volcano or a tidal wave, the disaster was kaiju. In that, I think they did a good job. I think that they had some damn fine actors in it, and they all did an excellent job. And the visuals were absolutely stunning. I had some minor quibbles with the story, but not so much that I couldn't enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. Thumbs up, dude. I like the theme of monsters as forces of nature rather than guys you go fight. Somehow the hero's going to be tough enough that he can kill it. No. You don't kill an earthquake. You don't kill a tornado. You survive it. And all the human characters in this movie, that's pretty much their deal. They're less able to kill the horrible disaster as much as really just trying to get out of its way and hope that it solves itself. And oh wow, and the visuals were amazing. The original Godzilla had the guy in the suit, And there's an art to it, I guess, to the whole Godzilla suit wearing thing. I mean, you know, you can't really fault them for that. Um, our effects are better now. But they managed to make Godzilla still kind of look like the guy who was in the suit, but without it looking like a guy in a suit. They kept the look and feel of the original Godzilla. Uh, and the sound, oh my god, the sound was amazing. Hearing him roar was awesome. But all of the monsters in the movie were really well put together, really well done. I would watch more of this. Yeah, I would say more, but then I'd stray into spoiler territory, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to leave that one alone. But I've been struggling with some website stuff tonight, working on somebody's website, and I had to go back and rebuild a bunch of work because of my video card crash. Apparently, I restored back to a point when before I did some work, and when I tried to get some of the widgets and applications to work, the plugins to work, they didn't. So I had to move it to a different server and install it fresh, and it was a pain in the ass. Let me just flat out say that it was a pain in the ass. So my rambly is a little less energetic tonight because I'm a bit worn out trying to recover the work that I lost. But I have good things on the horizon. Hopefully it will all plan out. The world is a happier place. And I don't know. I think I'm going to call it a little early. I've been going 15 minutes lately, but I think I'm going to call it a little early. If you like this, thumbs up it, and subscribe, and tell your friends, and have fun. And I guess I'll catch you next time. Night.